Hello everyone and welcome to Chip and Chase, the NRL Fan Podcast. My name is Steve and this is my co-host Dave. Hey Dave.
Good evening, Stevie. How are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate.
This is episode 13 of the podcast. We will be covering round 11 of the 2022 NRL season, and then we'll be previewing games for round 12. And it was another very interesting week in the NRL, Dave, with some big blowouts, some upsets, and some disappointing results.
The death of a coach.
Yes, we did see the demise of the career of Trent Barrett being axed or quitting from the Bulldogs, depending on which way you look at it. And they've got an interim coach there with Mick Potter taking over until the end of the year. And they're in search of a new coach for 2023.
I think very sticky situation down there, down at Belmore at the moment. No one knows what's happening, but I'm sure Gus Gould will get something happening down there. So,
well, I think Bulldogs supporters were hoping that this year would be a bit of a turnaround for them with some of the purchases they made, but I think they're going to have a couple of years of some lean times before they get things turning around for them.
Some rebuilding for sure.
Yeah, well, next year they got Reid Marnie and Kikau coming, so that'll hopefully boost their performances. But I think it's going to be a long season in 2022. Yeah. But some interesting re-signing news just off the bat. Herbie Farnworth has extended a 1-year contract with the Broncos, keeping him there till the end of 2023. And I also saw that Tavita Harris has decided to quit or retire, or for the time being anyway, from the Warriors. He's decided to call it, to put a hole in his career in the NRL Rugby League. Yeah, he's only 23. I don't know what was going on there, so that's kind of sad for him. Hopefully gets things worked out and comes back in the near future.
Yeah, for sure, mate, for sure.
All right, well, let's go through the first game of round 11, and the first game was the Knights up against the Broncos. This was played at McDonald Jones Stadium in front of 13,312 fans. And the Broncos, even without Adam Reynolds, were still way too good for Newcastle, who just really couldn't put it together at all.
No, I know. Look, I didn't know what to expect from this game. I thought, Knights at home, this and that, they might leave Ponga, might do something. But yeah, mate, like you just said, even without Reynolds, they were just doing everything right and getting the plays completed, and just they look like they're enjoying their footy, Steve. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, exactly. They had a little bit of a shaky start with Newcastle Knights scoring first through Tyson Frizzell, as we saw there, and at half time it was 6-6. So it was very close. But then the second half, as per usual, Newcastle are unable to get things going and unable to put a full 80-minute performance together.
Yeah, actually, even in the 68th minute, the score was Broncos 14, Knights 12. So, yeah, it still could have gone their way, but they just blew away in that last 20 minutes, the Broncos. Selwyn Cobbo, man, he ran for 230 metres. So, that was really good. I think Corey Oates is starting to play some of his best footy again, Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Really getting into everything there. And look, Tyson Gamble, I say his name every week. Real good, aggressive game by that kid.
And Katoni Staggs was on fire with the boot, 5 out of 6, and a penalty goal to boot. So well done to the Broncos, really putting together a full 80-minute performance there against Newcastle.
Big Pat Carrigan topped the tackle count with 44 tackles, so good on him.
Very good. All right, we move on then to game 2 of the round, and that was the Tigers up against the Bulldogs, bottom of the table clash. And this was played at Leichhardt Oval there in front of 15,000 fans with a pretty high-scoring game, not necessarily one that the purists would enjoy. Dave, with the tapping, please.
Sorry.
36-22. The Tigers really at half-time were in full control of this game, 18-0, and all in all putting on a pretty good performance up against the hapless Dogs, who I thought might bounce back, considering they had a coaching issue there and try to do it for Mick Potter, but not to be.
Yeah, look, this was another weird one. With 18 minutes to go in this, Steve, the score was 18-16
Bulldogs
Tigers, you know what I
made it.
mean?
Yeah, they made a bit of a comeback. The Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I thought all in all, it was a pretty entertaining game to watch. I enjoyed it. Um, look, Ken Mamalo
Yeah,
was outstanding with a double out on the wing there for the Tigers, and Hastings, as every week, he was in everything, man. So,
yeah. You can
good,
see he's
good,
just. While he might not always have the try assist, he's actually leading the direction for the team and pointing them in the
100%.
right way and setting up whatever's to come and just
Yeah,
moving all around the place. You could see that the condition of the field, and especially in that corner, was a little bit dicey, and Mamalo had a few sliding issues there. But
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
impressive to wing a tries for him.
He was in everything, Hastings, like we said. Poor old Josh Jackson, 50 tackles, mate. He's always trying his heart out.
Workhorse.
So, yeah,
And Alex Twal in his, was it 100th game?
yeah.
Still without a try in the NRL,
Oh,
and they were desperate to try to get him. He got close a few times right before the line, but it didn't look likely, but it wasn't to be for him. But a try still hopefully coming down the track somewhere for Alex.
yeah. Yeah, saw they had the drums there, and that was obviously because of his
Lebanese
background,
heritage, yeah.
Lebanese Jordanian, I think, half Jordanian as
Okay.
well. Yep. But I don't know, to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the drums. At the Eels game, they even had drums going, and I was like, please stop, man. That's
Yeah, but that's a crowd. That's the guy in the crowd with the Eels game. This is actual people on the sideline inside
and
the fence.
actual, yeah,
Hired
entertainment
crew.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, an interesting thing there that they did for Alex Twal. As I said, the Bulldogs did try to come back, scored a few quick tries through Matt Burton and Jeremy Marshall King there in the 42nd and 45th minute, and then young Jacob Carraz, who's an up and coming star, also getting over for a try. So just
Good
wasn't to
try
be
too.
for the Bulldogs, but a good game all in all, pretty entertaining. Then the one you and I were both at, this was the second Friday game, was the Eels up against the Manly Sea Eagles. A very entertaining game with the Eels stealing this one right on the bell, 22-20 in what was a pretty free-flowing game, even though the weather kind of started coming in at the end of the second half and the conditions were pretty wet and slippery. Both teams threw around the ball fair bit, and in a great crowd, great atmosphere, nearly 19,000 fans there at CommBank Stadium. And at half-time, the Sea Eagles were in the lead 12-10, but it was really anyone's game, and that proved the point right up until the 80th minute.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Here we go again, Manly and Para, eh?
The old
Wasn't it an old tough game? Like, we always knew it was going to be a good contest from both teams, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even where they are positioned, didn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a tough, close game, Manly versus Para. So, I thought Jakey T made 52 tackles, which was a good effort. I thought Will Penasini
had a strong
scored an
game.
awesome try of his own. Yeah. And it was a good comeback win by the Eels. I mean, they still not convincing from the Eels. I don't think it was a full performance, but they done enough, mate. Just, Mitchell Moses done enough. He kicked the goal from the sideline.
Yeah, he did.
Won it in normal time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right on the bell. One of those kicks that goal kickers dream of as a young player coming through, hoping that on the bell with the kick to win the game that they'll be able to do it. And it hasn't happened for him in the past. He's not that he's buckled, but he has missed those goals. The semi-final, South Sydney Para, the grand semi-final last year kind of comes to mind, but he kicked this one and right from the sideline.
Thankfully
for Para fans.
For us.
Yeah.
For Para, look, I want to mention King Gutho. It was his 150.
Yep.
And I thought, that win really came from the boys for him in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they tried hard.
And also mention to Josh Schuster. Geez, isn't he a good player, Steve?
Yeah, Schuster is a great up-and-coming player. He's one of those guys that can pull out anything and has a lot of big tricks in his bag. Sometimes unnecessarily throws no-look passes, but he's definitely someone Manly will be looking to in the near future. And a couple of dicey
Real-
decisions in this game with Mitchell Moses getting sin bin right before halftime in what I think was
Yep.
fair call. And then at the end, Para getting the rub of the green with some penalties and giving them back-to-back sets right on Manly's line. The high shot on the winger on Bailey, I thought was unlucky. It was high, but he was slipping, and
100%.
it's definitely a penalty. But nevertheless, I think the big talking point out of this game was Tom Drabojevic dislocating his shoulder and possibly out for the season, which is not good for Manly and not good for the Blues.
Yeah, such sad news, man. Look, it's obviously a contest between two teams, and you want to see your team win. But
Here it is, the
very
incident.
sad. Oh, yeah, that just popped it out for him there.
Yeah.
Very sad news for New South Wales and rugby league. Like, we all love seeing a player like Tom play every week. You know what I mean?
Indeed. So unlucky there for Tom Trbojevic, and you could see with his brother Jake at the end in the interviews, very disappointed and upset for both his brothers who are actually out injured at the moment. So bad news there. Hopefully for Tom, things are not as bad as they seem, and with some surgery he might be able to get back before the end of the year. Definitely not for Origin, but let's see what happens for Manly. Then we look ahead to the next game, which was the Dragons up against the Warriors. So far I was going okay in my tips until this point, but I had tipped the Warriors here, thinking that the Dragons might not be able to do what they did, might not be up to the task. But at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium in front of a low crowd of 7,147, they had enough. Warriors tried to come back, left their run a little bit too late. Dragons, well done, impressive effort. They were behind 14-12 at the break, but managed to come home strong and just to get the points over the Warriors at the end there.
Yeah, definitely. This was at Oki, and that's one of the main reasons I tipped the Dragons.
Well, it's actually now called Netstrata, not Oki, but Jubilee Stadium nevertheless.
Sorry, Jubilee. Yeah. Sorry, that's the one I meant.
That's the old sponsor.
And look, it was a quite entertaining game, man.
Yeah, back and forth.
It was back and forth, yeah. So it was nice and close. Jack de Belin topped the tackle count with 48 tackles, and wow, Zach Lomax got himself a double. So good work from him.
He's doing his putting his name up for the State of Origin centre spots, because we've got two centres now out in the Blues with Tom and what's his name from Latrell both out, there's a couple of centre spots open. So Lomax is obviously, as a goal kicker, is also doing really well. So he wouldn't look out of place in a Blues jersey. But there are a lot of good centres putting their hand up for those centre spots in the Blues. Crichton probably the most likely to get one of them because of his combination with those other Panthers boys in the team.
For sure. In the game too, I thought Cody Ramsey had a massive game.
Good player.
I believe he had the nickname right at the beginning of his career, the Flying Plumber. And he shaved his head. I didn't even notice him at first, but he was very involved, and he done a lot of good things. So good work to Cody
definitely.
Ramsey too.
I thought Johnson for the Sean Johnson for the Warriors went missing a lot of this game. He made some really poor decisions. His fifth tackle options left a lot to be desired. And when he finally decided to run the ball, he looked so dangerous and scored the try. And, he put this good kick up there for a try in the corner. But they need more from him.
100%. Look, I thought he played well in stages, like you said, but the rest of it was kind of confused and just not knowing what he was doing and stuff like that. But hopefully he can come back to some form in the next few weeks.
Yeah, let's hope so. All right, next up we had the Cowboys up against the Storm. This was a 2 versus 3 on the table, and I thought it would be a much closer game. I actually tipped the Storm, thinking they wouldn't lose back-to-back games, but nevertheless, the Cowboys on fire, thrashing them, and that's the only word you can use, thrash, 36-6. This was at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in front of a thrilled 22,728 local fans, and the supporters at home there were just thrilled. It was 12-6 at half time, But nevertheless, Cowboys just went on with it, and the Storm, I don't know if it's because they're missing those key players. Jerome Hughes out again. Obviously, Pappenhausen's still gone in fullback role. But they just had no answer. Their defence was not there. And they're usually renowned for being a defensive team. But in 2022, it looks like all they've got is we'll try to score more points than you. We're not going to try to defend our anymore. But that's not working for them.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, man. Really, really surprised to see him get back-to-back losses. I don't know.
Strange old game.
The effort just hasn't been there from him, man.
Yeah.
I don't think, we can say the couple of plays are out, but I think just their energy's down. The effort hasn't been there from them the last couple of weeks.
The disconnect in defensive structures, you can see they look a little bit unfit. Players with hands on heads, hands on knees, hands on hips. But there's a bit of a disconnect in the forward defensive line there, with players not in position, not being able to, get into position to make the tackles that they usually would make.
Yeah, and the Cowboys take nothing away from them.
Exactly,
they are absolutely on fire. I mean, the spine of Townsend and Drinkwater and Valentine Holmes, they're all starting to come good, man. I think all they're really missing is a starting hooker, not a starting hooker,
but
an awesome hooker.
Yeah.
So the spine's almost complete up there, and they really surprised me. I don't think I even had them in my 8, and they are really, really strong.
Yeah, exactly. So and Valentine Holmes really 6 from 6 from these goal kicks. Was really impressive, and Jeremiah Nanai, as we can see here, what a great winger. Murray Tawalangi, a great winger. He's becoming a fantastic buy for them, and this is this is Jeremiah Nanai, a great second rower. They've just both been pretty awesome in recent weeks, and
he scored a double.
Yeah, are the reason that the Cowboys are doing so well. So well done to the North Queensland Cowboys on a run with some fantastic wins. All right, so Game 6 of Round 11 saw another disappointing effort from what I thought would be a close clash. This was the Panthers up against the Roosters. Sydney Cricket Ground there, 14,482 fans. Saw the Panthers put on a mass, early on it was pretty, to and fro. They were a bit of an arm wrestle, but then it ended up 32-12. Panthers just very patient, played the full 80 minutes, while the Roosters were pretty good early and put on some late tries. They were really never in this game, with the Panthers just putting on a masterclass.
No, this was Panthers back to their damaging best, I think, mate, what we saw here. I don't know, the Roosters, they came off a win. I'm not going to say the most convincing win, but it was pretty dismal effort by them, to be honest with you. Jerome Luai scored a double. I thought he had a massive game.
He did. He stood up.
And what about Steve Crichton's 80-metre runaway try where no one laid a hand?
He's an athlete.
He's such a good player for them, man. He's just all-rounder, eh?
Yeah, he is.
Complete all-rounder.
And then you had the big clash between Kikau and Suwali. Suwali putting on a big hit on Kikau, and then Kikau later on got a bit of a return serve on Suwali. But Suwali is only 18 years old, so nearly 19. So it's a pretty massive effort from a young man to put a big shot on Kikau. The Panthers just too good. They were leading 18-0 at halftime, and from really that point onwards, it was the Roosters never looked likely. And I tell you what, if Cook would be looking over his shoulder at the moment, because little fella there, Coruscant, is really putting up his hand for a Blues jersey if Cookie wasn't playing some of his best football.
Gee, isn't he good? Yeah, I think he'd fit right into that New South Wales team too. So, Cookie better lift his game, or we might see a change this year.
You never know. So, that was a good effort. Again, the Panthers sitting pretty high now on the ladder as far as, we know they're first. We'll have a look at that in a second. But there's a bit of a gap there between them and second spot. Then we move on to the next game of the round, and that was the one that I was bitterly disappointed in. The Rabbits losing 32-12 against the Raiders. The Raiders, this was played in Dubbo at Apex Oval in front of 11,124 fans. Great conditions, excellent situation there for a carnival type atmosphere. But the Rabbitohs really probably had their minds still at Dubbo Zoo because which they'd visited earlier in the week. Because really they looks like they were on holidays. They didn't show up. I know. Okay, Totola got put out of the game by the very first tackle, knocked out, and never came back from his HIA after trying to tackle Papali'i. But so that left South short on the bench, and then Tane Milne also later on in the game couldn't come back from his HIA, so they only left him with 2 on the bench. But really, South just had no heart, no effort, and looked very lackluster. I was really disappointed in the effort here.
Yeah. It was a fairly lopsided game, obviously, you can tell by the score. And, just on Big Papa's 250th game, by the way.
They had a lot of emotion.
I just got to tell it how I see it. And they bashed him, Steve.
They did.
Forwards absolutely bashed your forwards.
This was a great try here.
What a team try this one was.
Yeah.
That's got to go down as one of the highlights for the years for the Raiders, for sure.
And even the try that South did score through Damien Cook, which we'll see coming up, they had nothing going. They were running around in circles looking for someone to give it to, and it just kind of happened because
it just happened.
Yeah, it wasn't like they set up for it or it was good teamwork or anything like that. Cookie just found somebody out of the line and used his speed and pace and step footwork to get through. But all in all, it was a really poor effort by South. Alex Johnson scored another try, but I thought Cody Walker looked frustrated again. If it's not something that if he whatever he's trying doesn't come off, he gets the shits and then's doesn't even try to get up to quickly play the ball, and it's not happening for South, and that's really disappointing because they've still got enough players out there to do the job, but they're desperately missing Cameron Murray, who shows the way through not just his leadership as a captain, but the way he runs the ball and the way he tackles.
Yeah, we were talking about Cookie before, how he might be looking over his shoulder, but I've actually got him as my standout player for
this game. Yeah,
so I can't fault him, man. He plays with his heart on his sleeve every week. He's in everything. He tries his ass off. Makes a bunch of tackles, mate. He made over 50 tackles this game for us. So,
and Campbell Graham, I thought, also stood up and was pretty good. And he's the Cook try where you can see they're just devoid of an idea. Somebody do something, and then Cook just uses his speed and steps on the inside on the left foot and gets under the post. But I thought maybe they 24-6 and then 24-12 they might do something, but it was not to be. Yeah. So well done to the Raiders. They're definitely on the up and up, and Ricky Stewart would be very happy with their way they're playing.
Kotrick and Wyden had a big game too, Steve, which was Papa crashed over on his 250, so congratulations to the bloke, mate.
Well done to the Raiders. All right, and then the last game of the round was the Titans up against the Sharks. This was a lot closer than I thought it would be. The Sharks really were in control and dominant for most of the game. 6-all at half time, but the Sharks kind of went away with it, scoring in the 42nd, 50th and 53rd minute, and you thought, okay, that'll be it. But then in the 70th and 76th minute, the Titans scored to make it a lot closer than it deserved to be. And, the Sharks did enough to win, but I don't think the coach would be happy with the way they finish off the game.
Yeah, look, it must be frustrating for the Titans supporters, mate.
Yeah.
Because you just said it, with 9 minutes to go, they all of a sudden woke up and scored a couple of tries and were all of a sudden back in this game. I don't think it was till the last actual play of the game, with seconds to go,
exactly,
where they still had a chance.
Very much so.
But the Sharks just doing enough, mate. Nico Hines wow, he stepped up and had a good game.
Yeah,
He's got everything.
you cannot move him out of the halfback role now. I know he's played
No,
fullback in the past and knows how to play that
terrible.
role, but the Sharks don't have the same direction when he's not in that
Everything.
position.
He done everything, passing, running. He popped that field goal at the end.
Yeah.
He's definitely that's his home there at the number 7.
Yep.
And little shout out to Miller, little Lachlan
Yeah,
Miller on
Lachlan Miller
debut.
on debut. He's not little. He's what is he, 26, 27, making his debut. Former
His
Olympian.
stature.
Former
His stature,
Olympian.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
know. Yeah, he's very fast. But
yeah,
played in the Olympics, Tokyo
Tokyo.
Olympics, as in the rugby sevens. But he has now come across to the NRL, and as you said, on debut was very good, and
Brilliant game on
had
debut.
a pretty good, impressive effort, involvement, and everything there for the Sharks. So well done to them for finding another up and coming player.
On to next week.
On to next week. All right, so that was round 11 of the NRL season. We now look at the ladder to see where things are at. And there you have it. The Panthers, as I said, sitting pretty at first spot, 4 points clear of the Storm, who just hold on to second spot on for and against, with the Cowboys. Big surprise packet for 2022, sitting in third. And then you've got on 14 points the Sharks, the Broncos, and the Eels, all on 4th, 5th, and 6th. The Roosters sitting there on 12th, on 7th spot. Rabbitohs holding on to their 8th spot, just on for and against from the Raiders, and Manly and the Dragons are all on 10 points. And then you've got the Warriors on 8 points. And then bringing up the rear, you've got the Titans, the Tigers, and the Knights on 6 points. And sitting last with just a lowly 4 points is the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And we thought we both named the Tigers as wooden spooners this year, but the way things are going for the Bulldogs, it's not looking like good times for them.
What are we saying, Steve? 12 and above have still got a chance. Anything below 12 is probably gone for the season.
Yeah, it's still, we're only just at the halfway mark, or about the halfway mark. So yeah, it's that top
Hard
8.
task still for them.
Yeah, top 8 position is anybody's game, anybody's position to take, because the teams who are, I mean, South Sydney, not the fact that they're sitting at 8 is a surprise to me, because they have 5 wins and 5 losses at this point in the, or whatever it is. It's not a good place to be. You should win more than half your games to be able to hold on to an 8th spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you're right. I was just going to say that's all you need, though. Just half of your games, and you're a chance of making the 8. So I've pretty much counted out 13, 14, 15, and 16. I don't think they're going to struggle to get anywhere near.
I'm with you there. All right, let's look at round 12, and this is what we have coming up for this week. Another big game. The Storm in second, up against the Manly Seagulls, who are in 10th spot, but as I said, only on for and against. And Melbourne have not been doing well. But Tom Trbojevic being out for Manly, I still don't think. I'm not sure if Jerome Hughes is back for the Storm, but I said it last week. Storm don't usually lose 2 games in a row. They rarely, if ever, lose 3 in a row, and I don't think Bellamy will be. He'll be cracking the whip this week at training. So I imagine the Storm to beat Manly is my tip.
Yeah, brother, I'm with you. I said to you last week, he's probably got him doing hill runs a week.
Yep.
I would not like to know what he's been doing to him this week. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it's played at Amy Park in Melbourne, so that's another big bonus for him.
Storm to definitely win this one, especially with Turbo out.
There you go. Then game 2 of the round is the Panthers up against the Cowboys. This is shaping up as the game of the round, no doubt. Who would have thought at the beginning of the year that the Cowboys would be sitting in 3rd spot? This is played at Bluebet Stadium, Penrith. Sellout for sure. A massive game, 6 p.m. on the Friday night. Cowboys are in with a chance, I tell you, but Penrith at home are very, very hard to beat. I'll be tipping the Panthers in a close one, I think.
I don't know. It's a bit of a hard one for me. I've got Panthers down here, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Am I inkling towards the Cowboys, Steve?
Ooh. What are you thinking?
They've
Come
been
on.
playing.
Put in a tip.
They've been playing well enough. All right, no, I'm going to have to stick with the Panthers.
Yeah,
Thank you.
agreed. All right, very good. Broncos up against the Titans is the next Friday night game. This is played at 7:55 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. A local derby, the Broncos and the Titans. Broncos have been going so well. I'm not sure if Adam Reynolds is back this week, but even without him, they're doing really well. I'm going to be tipping a Broncos victory here.
Yep, notch me down for the Bronx, mate.
Okay. Next up after that is the first of the Saturday games, Super Saturday. Warriors up against the Knights. This is an odd one because you just, Warriors coming off a couple of losses. And the Knights are hapless at the moment. I'm going to go... It's at Redcliffe, which is the current home ground of the Warriors. I'm going to go Warriors victory here.
Oh, wow. I like Steve. Yeah, Knights, just, I can't see him lifting, man. So I'm with you.
Putting it together.
Put me
All
down
right.
for Warriors.
Okay, then next up we have the Rabbitohs up against the West Tigers. This is the second time these two teams have come up against each other. This is at a core stadium. The Tigers beating the Rabbitohs in that first clash that they came up against each other at CommBank. After they'd beaten Para the previous week, they beat South next time around. But this could be anyone's game. I know the Tigers are sitting 14th and South are sitting in 8th spot. But seriously, South are playing as bad as the Tigers at the moment. So I'm going to tip South, but not with any great confidence.
South for a bit of revenge from last game. The game they lost to them. I'm picking the Bunnies here, mate.
Okay, I'll be out at this one, so we'll hopefully come away happy. All right, then the Sharks up against the Roosters, 4th versus 7th. This one at PointsBet Stadium, the Cronulla Sharks home ground. Let's see. It will be a close game. The Roosters will want to bounce back after a poor effort, and the Sharks were happy with getting away with a victory against the Titans. But this could be anyone's game again, and neither team are playing that great. But I'm going to go, just of course, for the home ground advantage, Sharks victory.
This should be a cracker game, bro.
Yeah.
This should be a really good, fast, kind of tough contest. So I think I'm going Sharkies here, mate.
Okay. Then game 7 of the round is the Dogs up against the Dragons. This one played at Belmore Sports Ground, back to their old stomping ground. The Bulldogs sitting last, the Dragons in 11th spot. This is the 2 p.m. Sunday game, so depending on the weather, could be a pretty good day game. But I'm going to be tipping a Dragons victory here. The Bulldogs still just they don't have it together.
Yeah. 2 p.m. is it?
Yep.
Beautiful. You tipped Dragons, did you?
Yes, I did.
This is just a toss of a coin for me. I'm going Dogs to win this one.
Oh, get off the bottom of the table maybe.
Yep.
Okay, big one there. And in the final game of the round, the one that you'll be interested in, GIO Stadium in Canberra sees the Raiders up against the Eels. This is the 4:05 p.m. kickoff, the last game of the round. It will be a difficult game down in Canberra for the Eels, but I think I'm going to tip the Eels. They're playing a really good brand of footy. The Raiders, getting a good victory for Papali'i's 250th. Not sure if they can continue the run, although they've been doing really well, the Canberra Raiders, and playing a great brand of footy. But the Eels are just a classier outfit for me.
Mate, if we win this game, it's a 4-point victory because we go straight into the bye the week after.
Uh-huh.
So if the Eels do not win this, there's going to be trouble, mate. I'll be heading down. I'll be finding where they train, and they'll be hearing about it from me. I've tipped the Eels here to make sure they get this very important win to go into the bye on a win.
There you go. All right. Well, that is the round wrap up for this episode of our podcast. We hope you've enjoyed listening to our somewhat expert opinions on what we think of this upcoming round and where we've been with round 11 of the NRL season, the upcoming games for round 12. Thanks for watching, everyone. Get out there and support your team. I don't think you'll be heading down to Canberra, will you, Dave?
Sorry?
You won't be heading down to Canberra to watch the Eels, will you?
Oh, it's been in conversations. Let's put it that way. We haven't confirmed anything.
Okay.
But yeah, just mate, this is like my favourite part of the week now. I love talking footy with you every Monday night, and yeah, thanks for all the support, guys. And make sure you get out and support your teams this week. Couple of good games there. So yeah,
Enjoy.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right, take care, Dave. Thanks everyone for watching NRL Fan Podcast. Chip and Chase. See you next week.
Thanks, Stevie boy.
See you, Dave. And here we go.